Good morning, everyone. This is Dr. Swati Mishra from International School of Business Management at Suresh Gyan Vihar University, Jaipur. And we will be continuing with our further sessions of marketing management with this session. And today I am going to discuss a very important topic of marketing management, which is segmentation, targeting, and positioning, the STP process. So, what is this segmentation, targeting, and positioning? That would be covered in this session, and we will be also understanding a very important terminology of marketing management, which is known as market attractiveness. And before we start understanding as to what STP process is, it is very important for us to cover the part of market attractiveness, because to understand it further, it will be very helpful if you are already aware of this terminology. So basically, market attractiveness represents the degree of market opportunity which is offered by a market segment and the ability of the firm to meet that segment's needs when within a competitive setting. So I would just explain you what is a segment in this case. Say you have a huge population in your market which is existing, and that population is the one which is targeted by the marketing managers along who are applying marketing strategies which have been designed by them for achieving different marketing objectives or achieving different advertising objectives that they have set. Now, those marketing objectives could be anything like, maybe awareness generation amongst the general public, maybe increasing the sales amongst the general public, or just creating a good brand value in the public, uh, increasing the goodwill of the brand in the public. So there could be multiple objectives behind that. And for that matter, you can't just, broadcast your marketing stunts on the um, entire mass of the population that is in front of you. And for that reason, the population is divided into different stratas or different segments by the advertisers. And those stratas have a particular uh, population of a limited population of people in that particular segment, and the characteristics and features of that population, the likes and dislikes, the behavior is quite consistent, because the demographic characteristics are also consistent. Say maybe like if you divide the population on the base, and there would be different basis of dividing the population, and though they become the basis of segmentation of the market, which we will be studying after we have studied market attractiveness. Like those bases could be anything like any demographic characteristic, like age, gender, income, population, occupation, or maybe any psychographic characteristic, any social characteristic. So there could be different means of classifying the population into different segments. So that is why, market attractiveness would actually represent the degree of the market opportunity that is offered by the market segment and the ability of that firm to meet that segment's need. Say if I have divided my market into on the basis of different age group, and now I want to target the youth, which is lying between the age group of maybe 16 till 24 only, then and my brand is manufacturing, say maybe denims, and what is my role here is to find out what is the need of that particular segment to whom I'm trying to target, and to satisfy the needs of that particular segment, right? Within the competitive setting that I am having, like whosoever the competitors are and what their strategies are, how they are trying to target those segments. I have to keep that in mind. So, and of course, keeping in mind my own competitive advantage also, like what I am good at, what is my brand good at, how I am actually trying to position my brand in the market, which means what kind of image I'm trying to create in the market, or maybe in the minds of my consumers about my brand. So all these things have to be kept in mind. That is why determining the market attractiveness becomes a highly important part before we actually start trying to position or target, first targeting and then positioning the brand in the market. Now, to determine this market attractiveness, basic four-step process has been designed by various different um, philosophers of marketing. So, while determining the market attractiveness, the first pre-select criteria that will be used to evaluate the market attractiveness and competitive position, you know, uh, could be, any criteria on the basis of which you are selecting, say maybe on the basis of the market, or maybe the customer whom we are targeting, what is the size of the market, or maybe the population which is in that segment of the market that we have created, the market potential, which means uh, what is the awareness level of that segment about the brand, what is the income level of that particular segment, whether that segment is having the potential and the awareness about that brand and the potential to buy that brand, and the willingness to buy that brand, whether they agree to it or not. Now, agreeing to any brand's idea or brand's message would also require a few things, like maybe your education level, the kind of background you have, or maybe some types of social beliefs that you carry, any religion that you follow. So, multiple things, shape the attractiveness of a market. Similarly, another aspect would be the market growth rate, which means that how much of growth rate is existing in the market, whether the market is going to get saturated very fast or not, or do we have ample of opportunities in the market, is the population strength good enough to carry on the sales for a longer duration of time. Then, of course, the one more aspect to be considered here is the product life cycle stage in which your product is moving right now, whether it is in the introductory stage, whether it is in the maturity stage, or whether it is still moving through the growth stage. So, at which point of the life cycle your product is, that would be a determinant of the market attractiveness also. Then, of course, what kind of differentiation potential your brand is carrying or the market is carrying, whether the market is able to actually differentiate your brand with the others or not, and what is the level of customer loyalty that you can generate from the public, whether your product is, if it is an FMCG product, the achievement of brand loyalty in that kind of product, and that too any product which is purchased in bulk by the consumers and at a high frequency. So in that case, achieving customer loyalty becomes very difficult. For example, for a brand which is trying to sell incense sticks, or maybe matchsticks, or you know any other such item, it becomes very difficult to achieve customer loyalty, owing to the kind of competitive brands that already exist in the market and keep entering the market very often with comparatively lower prices, and also a promise of delivering higher quantity in those lower prices with a better quality. So this becomes, or this makes, you know it very difficult for the brands to achieve customer loyalty very easy. And then, of course, price elasticity is also one of the aspects of market that makes market attractiveness uh, you know a key factor to be understood through from the point of view of price elasticity, right? And then there are, of course, some other factors like the economic and technological factors also, which play a very important role in determining the market attractiveness. For example, the investment intensity, the industry's capacity, the level and maturity of technology utilization, the ability to pass through inflation effects. Similarly, any kind of barriers that exist at the entry and exit of the brands, whether national or international, and then, of course, the access to raw material also. So, all these factors come under the economic and the technological factors, which are a part of the determining factors of the market attractiveness. So, with this discussed and understood, let's again move ahead and discuss a few more factors like there are some competitive factors also, like what kind of industry structure is existing, what kind of competitive groupings are there, whether there is a lot of grouping in the organizations to curb down the new entrants in the market or curb down the markets of the new entrants in the markets, whether there is any kind of substitution threat that exists for the brand or the product that is being marketed, the perceived differentiations amongst the competitors also, and of course the individual's competitors' strengths. So all these things become a part of the competitive factors which determine the market attractiveness. So if there are huge substitution threats, or maybe the competitive groupings are very strong, it becomes very difficult for any brand to find that kind of market attractive for their own products promotion. Or maybe if the perceived differentiation is not achievable, or the industry structure is not comfortable enough to be dealt with, then in these cases the market attractiveness factors really suffer, which means that market doesn't look very attractive to the brand. Then there are, of course, some environmental factors also, like the regulatory climate, that what kind of other agencies are existing which are playing a role of being the regulatory body in that industry or on that industry, whether there are huge restrictions on these industry by these regulatory bodies, any kind of environmental agencies, and non-government agencies which are working in the favor of the environment, they also become a regulatory body for such industries to keep a check on any industry which is not environmentally friendly, and they can actually become very um, difficult to be dealt with by such organizations. And any organization which feels that any such regulatory body is going to be creating troubles for that organization to get established in the market, then that particular market is not very attractive for an organization. Of course, the degree of social acceptance is another very important factor. If we find that the society where we are trying to actually market our products is following some different kinds of ethics and values, or maybe religious beliefs, which would make it very difficult for us to make the brand acceptable by the people, then in that case the market is not found to be very attractive for the brand. Then there are some competitive position factors also, which have to be kept in mind by the marketers before deciding upon their STPs, which are like the capabilities and the interactions with the other segments, such things. So by capabilities, it is meant that the management strength and depth that is there, the financial and research and development, product development, manufacturing, marketing, sales force, distribution system, labor relations, relations with the regulators. All these, factors make it, uh, you know, very difficult for the organization, difficult or easy for the organization to market their products easily. Then, of course, what kind of interactions are there with the other segments? What kind of market synergies are existing in the market? Whether the different segments are playing a synergistic role towards each other in, then they make the market highly attractive for the brands. If the synergies are not there, then it becomes very difficult to market your product in the to establish your brand in that particular market. Similarly, what kind of operational synergies are there? These they are also supposed to be kept in mind. So we've discussed about the first weight. Now we will be continuing about the determination of marketing attractiveness. The second weight, the market attractiveness, and the competitive position factors, which means that what is the relative importance of each factor of your firm, right? So that is supposed to be measured, and then on the basis of that, it is understood whether the market is actually attractive for that brand or not. Thirdly, you rate each segment on attractiveness and competitive position, which means that you try to analyze the segments thoroughly and you try to find out whether those segments are actually attractive for you or not, whether you can actually function in those segments easily or not. So here is an example of weighting and rating method that is given. You can see that the factors or the groups are mentioned over here, like the market, economic and technological factors, competitive factors, environmental factors. And then weights are given to it. On the basis of this, the ratings are given here, and you just have to multiply the weights with the rating, like the one which is done here, 8 into 50, and whatever answer you get, you write the total here. Then you find out the cumulative weight of the market, and basis on the basis of that you can judge the market attractiveness, right? Then the fourth aspect is to evaluate the implications of alternative positions within the market attractiveness, or maybe the competitive position metrics for the target market selection, and of course for the strategic objectives achievement also, and resource allocation. So selecting the segments that offer the best opportunity for profits is highly important in this case. So with this, we have almost reached to the conclusion of the first part of today's session. We have discussed as to what market attractiveness is, and I've also discussed with you the factors that become a determining factor of the market attractiveness, that any organization can use to determine the effectiveness of the market or attractiveness of the market, whether it is a suitable market for that particular brand or not. Now we will be continuing with the second part of this session, wherein we will be discussing the customer driven marketing strategies and how they are intended to creating values for the target customers. So, you know, if we try to understand as to what we mean by customer driven marketing strategy is, We can define the major steps in deciding or designing the customer driven marketing strategy, which would include your market segmentation, targeting, differentiation, along with that positioning also. And of course, the second step is market segmentation, wherein you list and discuss the major basis for segmenting the consumers and business markets also. So then comes the market targeting, wherein you try to explain how the companies would identify the attractive market segments and then correctly choose a market targeting strategy for that particular segment or suitable for that segment, so that you can, you know, take the maximum benefit out of that um, targeted market segment. The next is differentiation and positioning, which discusses how the companies differentiate and position their products from the other competing brands for achieving the maximum competitive advantage. So if we say that, there is a customer driven marketing strategy, you know so you can clearly see on the screen over here that what is a customer driven marketing strategy. If you can see here, you know the concept of marketing actually uh, you know tries to answer two questions mainly, and they are, how to select the customers, on what basis, and then how to, convince them to actually buy your brand. And that is exactly what is done in segmentation and targeting, wherein you are trying to select the customers and then trying to serve the needs of the customers. So, here, what is segmentation? Segmentation is basically, I told you, dividing the total market into smaller segments based on different characteristics, such that each segment has a limited amount of population, but the characteristics of those population are somehow similar to each other and are consistent. Then comes targeting, which is nothing but selecting the segment or the segments which they want to enter. By segmentation and targeting, you try to create value for targeted customers, right? And same is what happens in differentiation and positioning also. Like, you know, but as far as segmentation and targeting are concerned, I told you that they are trying to select the customers and serve the needs of the customer. Wherein, as far as differentiation and targeting are concerned, you are deciding on a value proposition for your brand. And based on that, you are trying to differentiate the market offering that you have to offer to the market to create a superior customer value. And you are also trying to position the market offering in the minds of the target customers with the same. So that is what is meant by customer driven marketing strategy, wherein you are actually trying to develop a marketing strategy which is absolutely customer driven, right? So, with this, let us move ahead and try to discuss all these strategies one by one. I told you that market segmentation, the first S out of STP process, involves dividing a market into smaller segments of buyers with distinct needs, characteristics, and of course the behaviors that might require different types of marketing strategies or mixes to address to their needs of those customers or those segments to which those customers belong. Whereas when we talk about market targeting, which is the second step of the STP process, after segmentation, you reach to targeting. It consists of actually evaluating each and every market segment's attractiveness. I've already discussed in the first part what is market attractiveness, and I made it clear to you all. I hope it is clear to you all. So you are now, evaluating each and every market segment's attractiveness and selecting one or more market segments to enter that market. So I hope that this is absolutely clear to you. And then comes our rest of the two steps of market segmentation, which is differentiation and positioning. Differentiation, as I told you, involves actually differentiating the firm's market offering to create a better and more superior customer value. And whereas, as far as our positioning is concerned, it consists of arranging for, a market offering to occupy a clear, distinctive, as well as desirable place, which is, relative to the competing products in the minds of the target customers. So what are you doing in positioning? You're actually trying to create a differentiated identification of your brand in the minds of the customers, and you're trying to change the perceived value of the brand in the minds of the customers, and you're trying to position your brand in a particular manner in the market that it is sought after by the customers, and the customers look forward to purchasing it as a recognized brand. And that is what happens in case of some iconic brands also, like Surf, which is an iconic brand in the detergent market. They have been able to position themselves as in such a manner that they become an iconic brand, right? That we recognize that particular product by that brand. And this is what happened in case of Sony's Walkman series, which was a portable music player that Sony had developed, and people started recognizing that product by the brand name Walkman, which was actually Sony's brand. But people used to call every brand's portable music player as Walkman. So this is what is positioning. So with this, now we move ahead and we would discuss some deeper aspects of segmentation, targeting, and positioning one by one. The first one that I want to discuss with you, although it is a very lengthy topic to be discussed in one session, but until our time permits us, we will be continuing, and then we will be closing down the session and continue in the next one. So, market segmentation, that is what I wanted to discuss with you now. That, as we are, trying to segment the market, you know, what are the organizations actually doing in segmentation is dividing the large heterogeneous markets into smaller segments, right? Into smaller parts, which can be reached more efficiently and effectively with products and services that match their unique needs. Why? Because in one segment you will be having a customer base which has one similar type of needs. So you will be trying to create such type of market offerings which suit the needs of that particular segment. That is what you are trying to do here. After that, you know, uh, you can also um, go ahead and try to understand that how the segmentation of consumer markets are done, how the segmenting of business markets is carried out, segmenting the international markets is done. Like whenever you are trying to just segment a consumer market in one particular geographical area, that will be totally different from segmentation of business markets. And That would be altogether totally different from segmenting the international markets, or maybe requirements of effective segmentations. So there are different aspects to market segmentation also, depending upon whom you are trying to segment, right? So if we are trying to segment the business market, business buyers can be segmented geographically, demographically, like on the basis of industry or company size. Geographically means on the basis of the location where they are located, or by the benefits which are sought, maybe using status, usage rate, and loyalty status. There could be different bases on the basis of which you can segment your business market. So business markets also use some additional variables also, like operating characteristics, purchasing approaches, situational factors, personal characteristics, and such things. So, there are some basic requirements for achieving a very effective segmentation. So, what are these basic requirements that should be, achieved to carry out effective segmentation of the markets? First and foremost, the market should be measurable, which means the size, the purchasing power, the profile of the customer or the population that belongs to that segment. All these things should be measurable. Unless your segment is measurable, it will not be called as effective segment. Similarly, they should be accessible also. The market segments can be effectively reached and served uh, only if you are able to assess them very easily. So it should not happen that you have created some segments but you are not even able to reach them or serve them. And it will not be called as an effective segment. Similarly, it should be substantial. A segment should be the largest possible homogeneous group which is worth purchasing with a tailored marketing program, right? So that is why it should be substantial. And that is one of the most important aspect for effective segmentation. And then, of course, the segments should be differentiable also, because the segments are conceptually distinguishable, and they respond differently to different market mix elements that are applied on them. So to effectively create the most suitable or apt marketing strategies, you should be able to differentiate between the market segments very effectively, right? And then, of course, they should be actionable also. Effective programs can be designed for attracting and serving various segments and the needs of those segments. So that is why these five factors that I have mentioned, or five requirements that I have mentioned, they should be satisfied before you are actually trying to you know reach the market. So whenever you are trying to segment your market effectively, you should keep in mind that your segment should be measurable, accessible, substantial, differentiable, and actionable. So these are the basic requirements to have effective segment. I hope that it is absolutely clear to you. And the next point that I want to discuss is market targeting. I will just give you a brief outline of market targeting before we get into the depths of market targeting, because already we are falling short of time. We've discussed enough, and the session will get too long for any person to be interested in it. I don't want to bore my audience with this. I'll just give you a brief about it, and then we will close down this session, and we'll be continuing with the segmentation, targeting, and positioning with the next sessions. So, targeting, as I told you, the firm has already segmented the market, and now it has to evaluate the segments that have been created, and you have to decide how many and which segments can be served the best, right? So for that matter, targeting is required. When you are trying to find out that which segment we can serve easily, and then we start creating market strategies according to that particular segment that we have created. So that is what is targeting. So I hope that I have introduced segmentation, targeting, and positioning process, uh, you people to you, in a very justified manner. And I really hope that it was a very interesting session for you, and if not interesting, at least informative for you. And with this, I am closing down this session. We will be continuing with our targeting and positioning part in the next session. This is Dr. Swati Mishra from International School of Business Management at Suresh Gyanvyar University, thanking all the viewers for viewing the videos of Marketing Management by Suresh Gyanvyar University. Please remember, the syllabus of Gyanvyar University is revised every semester, and it's revised by a BOS, which is comprising of the experts of the field and industrial experts, and the alumni of the university also are brought in while discussing the board of studies for new syllabus designing. So the syllabus is at par with the needs of the current industries, and it makes the learners absolutely industry ready. So for those who are viewing these videos, please uh, you know uh, get geared up, and these videos should prove to be very beneficial for all of you. If you have any queries regarding any points that were discussed in today's session, please leave your comments in the message box. I would be really happy to answer to them. If you require any type of teaching learning materials, I would be definitely helping you with them and sharing them with you. So that is all from my side for today. Thank you so much for viewing this video. This is Dr. Swati Mishra from International School of Business Management, Suresh Ganyar University, signing off. Bye bye. Have a nice day.